All right, hello everyone, this is Nicholas Pythagoras, and welcome back to another video. On this YouTube channel, we ask the question, how does the truth manifest itself in the real world? Or how do human values manifest themselves in the real world? And I was recently playing a game a while back with a couple guys, and I thought this was an excellent game, a very amazing example to highlight the difference in consciousness structures as described by Jean Gebser. So it's a little bit inspired by him. And also, I've been really meaning to do this video for quite a while. I know it's been a couple weeks, but I got a new camera and a new microphone. So please let me know in the comment section if you not only notice an improvement in quality, but you enjoy the improvement in quality. And I really wanted to do this video for quite a while back, but I just wanted to improve the quality, the video quality, so you can see the cards and all that. Anyways, so it's a very simple game. Essentially, I'm asking you, the viewer, guess the suit of the next card. So we have a pack of 52 playing cards here. Also, don't mind my nails. I'm a guitar player. We have a pack of 52 playing cards here, and we have 3 of those cards before us. So we have a 7 of hearts, a 7 of diamonds, a 2 of hearts, and a queen of clubs. And I'm asking you, the viewer, what is the suit of the next card? So pause the video. I'll give you guys a second to do that. And come back when you have the answer. All right, so I'm assuming that you guys have the answer or your guess in mind. And so drum roll, please. If you guessed a spade, then you will be right. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a jack of spades. It could be any spades. But now I ask you, how did you come to that decision? How did you come to that conclusion? How did you guess that it was a spade? Because I'll tell you this, the first time that I played it, and the first couple times, and honestly, this is the way I'm going to play it now, is that I looked at this and I said, well, we already have a diamond, and we already have a heart, and we already have a club. So what completes the set, if you will? What completes the set? Well, what don't we have? We don't have a spade. So I'm going to guess it's the spade. And it's kind of hilarious because when I was playing this, they told me oh, that strategy isn't supposed to work. It's not supposed to work. But honestly, this is the strategy I prefer because, well, I have experience. And so basically, I think this is a very fascinating way of discerning the magical consciousness structure, as Jean Gebser would say. Mainly because whenever we associate magic, magic as a perception, we associate it with card tricks, magic card tricks, let's say a magician, for example. So back thousands of years ago, people would see magic, and that's how they would perceive what is to us mathematics. Because way back, under the magical consciousness structure, it would be magic. But under the rational consciousness structure, it would be math. And this is thousands of years ago. And I would say not necessarily because they didn't have the math. They could do the math. It's just that they didn't care to do the math because that wasn't part of who they were. That wasn't part of their identity. That wasn't part of their cosmological understanding or vision of the universe. So they could do the math. It's just that they didn't care to do it. And so, for example, in the magical consciousness structure, when we're discerning here, I couldn't tell you the math. I couldn't tell you the math. I just saw that we had a diamond, we had a heart, we had a club. What don't we have? We don't have a spade. And that completes the set. But let me go on to the rational consciousness structure, because this is a different way of approaching the truth. And I think it's very fascinating because this is another way, a very true way, but it's kind of like two sides of the same coin. They're not wrong, but they are unique and truthful in and of themselves, and they both lead to the truth. So the mathematical way, or as Jean Gebser would say, the rational consciousness structure, it would say, well, I see that we already have a diamond, so that decreases the probability of getting a diamond by 1 card. We have a heart, that decreases the probability of pulling a heart by 1 card, and we already have a club, which decreases the probability of pulling a club. So mathematically, there are still 12 potential cards that are spades in the set. We have, and if we just look at it probabilistically, we have we have an 11 out of 12 chance of pulling a diamond, 11 out of 12 pulling a heart, 11 out of 12 pulling a club, but we still have a 12 out of 12 chance of pulling the spade. Therefore, it'll be smart to choose the higher probability, the highest probability, which is a spade. And that's the mathematical way. So that's also true, and that's also honest. And that's also a valid way of approaching the truth. So both of those consciousness structures, the magical and the rational, are both valid ways, both different ways of approaching the same truth, that it was the spade. Now, whether you said, well, what completes the set like I did, which is a spade, or whether you said there's a higher probability mathematically of picking the spade, then you would both be right. And it's a different way of approaching the same truth. And I think that's very fascinating. Two different paths that are both true. Again, it's like two sides of the same coin that both lead to the same truth. And I think that's very fascinating. Also, I will say, again, as I was saying, like thousands of years ago, it was seen as magic, but now it's seen as math. And we can kind of see this because to bring up magicians again, magicians, they pull out a pack of playing cards and they're like, is this your card? And then, is this your card? Is this your card? And it's like, yes. Yeah. This is my card. And they're like, how did you do that? Well, it's just magic. Well, it's also mathematics. I will say magic as in like, not only like actual magic, but like the perception of magic, the perception of magic and the perception rather of the mystical, rather than the actual mathematical. And I think this is also to touch on one last point. Again, these are two valid ways of understanding the truth, two valid paths to get to the same truth. And as Oswald Spengler would say, what I would say the mystical consciousness structure, someone who follows narratives, they have their finger on the pulse or the rhythm of life, okay? It's not necessarily material cause and effect, but it's more of a mystical way. Like there are thousands, millions of examples of something in life that seems too coincidental or too ironic, yet it still happens in life. You could say it's like the frequency of life, the energy of life, the something mystical that goes beyond, I guess, what we can see, but I guess the unseen. But rather, it's like the pulse of life. Like if you're listening to a song and you feel the rhythm, you feel the beat, you feel that there's a pulse in the music. And similarly, the person that is focused on narratives and the focus on the mystical, they have their mindset focused on the pulse or the rhythm of life, as opposed to, which is totally valid, as opposed to the mathematical, more, dare I say, utilitarian view of finding out, let's say, a very rigid, structure to life, cause and effect, A to B to C to D, a very mathematical approach. And that's also valid too. And I just saw that this game was a very beautiful example of highlighting the differences in the consciousness structures between the magical and the mathematical. So that's the video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, if you enjoy the content, what I have to say on this channel, we talk about philosophy, phenomenology, existential philosophy, cosmology, and understanding human consciousness. The big overall question is, how does the truth manifest itself in the real world? Or how do human values manifest themselves in the real world? So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know if you won this little mini game here and you guessed the spade. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.